Or try to find time to convince your partner to do something that you enjoy too.
Like what?
I was like, you gotta watch Mr. Ballin', man. It's so good.
I have watched it.
You gotta play video games with me.
I have not. Who watched the vlogs when I was breastfeeding the twins and I went through like a pack of Oreos a week? I'm back to that. I think I go through, don't put it on so we can match. I think I go through, how many of these a week now? No, I only have one more pack. I think I go through, well, we usually get the party pack. This is the family size. We didn't know.
We need a bigger size than the
It's a party pack. And we're on the family pack, but we got two. So Justin put party pack in like our Walmart order, but I guess they were out. So they sent us two family size. So I think we actually got more for our money. And they're the Halloween version.
Habanero lime, crinkle cut kettle. These are so good. I saw these at Sprouts the other day and I was like, ooh, I haven't had those.
Do you like those ones better or the ones at Trader Joe's?
Trader Joe's has these Carolina Gold barbecue chips that are like my new obsession.
That's what I like.
They're so good.
Justin also has a breastfeeding diet.
Yep.
So for this Q&A, I actually picked questions on YouTube. Usually I do it on Instagram, but not everybody has Instagram. So this time I did it on YouTube, and you guys left them in the comments. So they're a little bit longer because you can ask longer questions on YouTube than you can on Instagram. And I tried to pick different ones because we always get the same questions every time. First question, we haven't gotten this one yet because we haven't talked about it. How's potty training going with Pepper? Aside from today,
great.
today was for some reason he had a rough day. But besides from that, it's been like a week since he's had, maybe even longer.
He has phases, but I think every puppy's like that. Every puppy has phases. Like they do good for a little bit. Even Boba's like that.
But it's not even like, he knows to go, so he's really great at ringing the bell to go potty, but if you don't get there quick enough, that's when he has an accident. Yeah. So like he holds it, it's like a toddler, like he holds it until the very last second, and then he takes his paw and he like slams it on the bell. So it's really loud. Yeah. And it's good because you know to like go open the door, but if you don't get up quick enough, or like I think it happened the other day, you were like giving the kids a bath or something. Yeah. He obviously couldn't get up to get to it right away, then he had an accident. But aside from that, and today, because I don't know what happened today. I don't know. He just had a rough day.
Poop like 45 minutes ago.
Yeah, so, but other than that, he's actually doing really, really good. How do you make outings with the kids smooth? What do you pack? How do you organize your days out?
Oh, I'll answer this one.
Okay.
So, I mean, honestly, this one takes a lot of teamwork, man. And you both got to be on the same page. Like, you have to have your bags. You have to know what you're putting in your bags, right? So, like, anytime that we go out, we always have one. We have the diaper bag, which is like a collective diaper bag for Faye, for the boys. Yeah. Then, like, if we're going somewhere where each kid's going to need, like, a certain thing, we have their own backpacks. Like Emma will usually bring her backpack where we put her water in there, we put a snack in there. So like usually with snacks, we'll bag up some snacks. In the truck, we have like an organizing bin in the back where we kind of keep stuff.
I think I shared that on my channel too.
That's really helpful because that way you know exactly where everything is. You're like, oh, where is this?
We also have backups of everything in the trunk in that crate. So we have extra outfits, we have extra shoes, extra socks, jackets in case.
Just in case, because you guys know, if you're a parent, you know there's times where
on the way to Disneyland, Ruben got car sick and threw up. But when it was that back in January, all over his car seat, all over his clothes. But we had an extra pair of clothes in the trunk, and we also had wipes.
Now we just need an extra car seat cover. That's like our next thing.
I don't know how you handle that. What advice would you give to a couple who's trying to decide whether or not to have more kids? I know you guys said you compromised on your number of kids. So you guys don't remember, when we got married, we talked about it. I wanted to have 5 kids. Justin wanted 3. No?
Like you saying no to my 3 kids.
Oh, I was like, yes, that is what happened. I wanted 5, he wanted 3, we compromised on 4. Now I'm like, 4 is the, I don't want 5.
See? I told you.
But you also are like happy we have the 4, obviously. I know. So it ended up being.
But what did that one? I forget his name. There's a comedian. He had a funny line. He said, "You want to know what it's like having 4 kids? Imagine drowning and someone hands you a baby."
I think my advice, or if you're trying to decide if you want to have more, would be when obviously finances are like a huge part of it. You have to make sure like you're in a financial spot, because you don't want to be in a spot where you feel like you can't do things with your family because it costs too much money.
I was gonna say timing too. I think that's
timing is really important.
You need to know what kind of bandwidth that you have.
For me, one thing that we talked about when we knew we were done, or if we wanted to have more, it was also just like your bandwidth for your kids. So like we want to make sure that each of our kids has the attention that they need from us. So I feel like that's my biggest piece of advice, is to make sure that like emotionally, mentally, like physically, you're able to give each of your kids what they need. And for us, at least, we talked about this after Faye was born. I was like, 4 is, I think, the number that I can give the equal like amount of attention to each kid. And that's like a lot of work, but it's possible for us. Like we're able to make it work. So that's what I would say. Talk to your husband about like what you feel like you're able to give the kids for your time, your finances, your like availability, like Justin was saying, at home. Just it's a big decision. It's definitely not one that you want to just like wing it.
Well, I think it was good for us to have that conversation very early on in our relationship.
Yeah, that's true.
Like knowing what your expectations were, knowing what my expectations were, and being able to talk about that before the idea really formed in your head of like, no, I'm going to have 5 kids, and me being like, hey, no, I think I really only want to have 3. Like, it was good to do that
before
early
getting
enough
married, even
to where we could really say, okay, is that going to be something I can kind of...
Yeah. And if you're not married yet, then have that conversation probably
we were
before.
Talking about kids when we were like
young, 17.
Seriously, right? Hey, this is how many kids I want to have.
This question I'm just putting in here to refer to another video, because this is one of those questions that we get every single time we film a Q&A. It's about our frozen embryos. I did a whole video where I talked about that, so I'm just going to link that down below or right here for you guys, because it's a long answer and we've answered it many times. Going to an easy question. How old are you and Justin? We're at 36. The right age of 36.
Just kidding.
27. We're both 27 right now.
I'm almost 28.
You're actually almost 28 this time. Usually in March, Justin starts saying funny? He's almost.
I actually forgot yesterday how old I was for a split second. Someone asked me something, and I was like, wait, okay, yeah, wait, yeah, I'm 27. All right.
No one asks how old you are once you have kids. People just ask how old your kids are. Yeah. So that's all I think about. No one even asks for your birth date. I'm constantly giving the kids birth dates for like the pediatrician and stuff, that sometimes I'm like, when's my birthday? What is your best advice for going from 1 to 2 kids? My son will be 2.5 when baby number 2 is born in December. He's a mama's boy, hardcore.
That's a good age.
I feel like it's about what the boys are right now. They're about almost 2.5 at least. It is hard when you have mama's boys, I will say. The boys have been they've always been very attached emotionally to me. I will say this though, take it as an opportunity, because the boys, because they have been so attached to me, we were really worried about that when Faye was born. But if anything, I feel like it's been a really awesome opportunity for Justin, and so for your partner to bond with the kids who maybe are more attached to you, because the boys are so attached to me. We were worried about it.
Take advantage of the fact that now it's like, okay, we have to do
that quality time for your spouse to be able to spend time with the kid that's normally super attached. Is good for you to get like a reprieve from that for a little bit, even if you love it, just to like be able to bond with your newborn. But he has gotten a ton of quality time with the boys, and it's been amazing.
Ruben now can come into a room with Rachelle and I both, and if he gets hurt, he can come to me if Rachelle is wrapped up with Faye. Like, before Faye, he'd been like, nah, dude, like, I got hurt, I'm going to mom. Yeah. Now he can actually, he's fine to come
smart.
to me.
He sees me being busy attending to Asher or Emma or Faye. He can look for Justin, and he'll get just as much comfort from Justin. So I'd say,
but that's a mutual thing.
That's
a mutual thing too. That's something where I have personally invested a lot of time in being intentional about, and so it's definitely, you and your partner need to be on the same page with that, and it has to be like, we're going to take advantage of this thing.
My best advice for going from 1 to 2 kids would be, it's hard to say 1 to 2 because we never did 1 to 2. We did 1 to 3, and then we did 3 to 4.
I would say give them each very intentional, specific time. That's something that we've been having to learn the hard way, especially with twins, is trying to make sure that each of them have very intentional time, with like Asher going out with Rachelle, Emma going out with me. It's easy to keep your kids kind of bundled up together, but to make sure that you get them apart,
Especially twins.
that's super important.
Make sure you give like toddler a lot of special attention because they're gonna feel all the attention on the baby. And Emma had a really hard time with that because there was 2 newborns who were being held. Just making sure you give them, like, when people come over to visit, asking, even we would have family make sure that they also go say hi to Emma before even the baby sometimes, just so that she would feel important. She would feel like she was getting that attention.
It might be hard, and that's totally okay.
It's
like,
hard for everybody.
Seriously. Rachelle and I were just talking about this the other day. Just like this expectation, or like you see on social media, everyone looks like everything's going well with their kids. Like, dude, it is hard sometimes. So if there's gonna be some hard days with that, it's not gonna go smooth all the time. And guess what? That's okay. You're not alone.
Justin, how do you feel your role as a dad has changed with going from 3 to 4 children?
It's hard to gauge right now because I've been off of work, and so that's gonna be very different. Like, our routine's obviously gonna change so much in a week and a half when I go back to work. So that's a hard question to answer right now. I've been spending way more time doing toddler routines. Not that we didn't before, but Rachelle and I used to split it. It was like every night. It was like Rachelle would do Emma one night, I would do Emma the next night, and then morning would be like,
they all got time with both of us.
I'm waking up with the kiddos. Okay, you're waking up with the kiddos the next morning. I've been doing that, obviously, like you're taking care of a 4th newborn.
Well, Faye goes to bed at the same time, too, so someone has to put the baby to bed.
So I've been doing bedtime routine as well as morning routine, breakfast routine, nap when the boys were taking naps, nap routine, pretty much everything with the toddlers, but that's not going to be the case here in a few weeks, so we'll get back to you on that one. It's definitely going to be different.
You have to have that communication, like probably you should have that communication before baby is born too, because usually mom is waking up with the baby multiple times a night, which is why Justin wakes up with the kids in the morning, because he obviously gets a whole night's rest, and I am up with the kids every morning. But with the twins, we were both up constantly during the night, so that's when we would also switch getting up in the mornings, because we were both up just the same. So just communication. That's our answer to every question. Communication. How do you guys make time for each other, or keeping the spark in your marriage with so many kids?
Sometimes I forget that you even exist.
I don't know about you, but for me, our kids all are usually asleep by about 8 o'clock. And for me, that's one of the things that Justin and I have that time together at the end of the day. It has always been so important to us at the end of the day. Like, we don't have our kids staying up super late because I'm also like an early sleeper. I go to bed usually like 9:30, 10 especially.
You need your time, dude. You need your time. And whether that's not, like Rachelle says that, it's not like every single night we're having like date nights, or like sometimes that's just her and I both sitting on the couch and her sitting on her phone and us watching The Office and me sitting on my computer. Like, it's just being together sometimes, but like making very intentional specific time for each other.
Finding things that you enjoy doing together. Like Justin and I love doing well, we've been watching The Office. We don't usually watch TV, actually. We only started doing that once Faye came around again.
Because we're not hanging out in the bedroom as much.
Yeah, that's true, because she's sleeping in there.
Yeah.
But we love watching like true crime. So last night we just put on like a true crime movie, documentary, whatever, and just watch that together. So finding things you enjoy doing together.
Or try to find time to convince your partner to do something that you enjoy too.
Like what?
I was like, you gotta watch Mr. Ballin', man. It's
I have watched it.
You gotta play video games with me.
I have. How do you take care of yourselves in forms of self-care? So Justin for sure is like his like mentally like decompressing thing is playing video games at the end of the day. I feel like that's kind of how you decompress.
Yeah.
I love like arts and craftsy type stuff. I've been doing like a scrapbook at the end of the day that we've been just like pictures from like the summertime. Yeah. Just finding things like that bring you joy. It's
usually that at the end, and that goes hand in hand with the making sure that you're carving out time.
Yeah, you have
which is nice for us that we've gotten our kids on a pretty routine schedule to where we can have like 1.5 to 2 hours at the end of the night to decompress and do like recover a little bit. But I would say also there's another thing that you and I do with that is like, hey, I need to go take a break. This is hard for me, and I don't know if anybody else struggles with this, but you have to be honest. Like, you can't, and Rachelle and I just experienced this, like, what was it? I think it was today. Yesterday, where I didn't say that I needed to go take a break early enough, and I could tell that I got way too frustrated about something I could tell Rachelle's like, you're a little too frustrated. And then finally, like, it kicked in my head, like, dude, go sit down for 5 minutes and go take a break. Like, go take a breather. But communicate that. Like, be honest about when you need to just go take 5 or 10 minutes. Like,
you can have it. You can have a code word. Like, we literally used to say,
and you don't need to
I'm
feel
going to go
guilty
check
about
the mail.
And you don't need to feel guilty about that. It's so easy to feel guilty about that as a parent, especially, like, if you're like me, you're a people pleaser, I don't ever want to say, like, oh, I want to take a break because I want to just help all the time. But you need to take that time for yourself too.
We haven't done this since Faye was born, obviously, because she's still so little. But usually too, once our kids get to a better sleeping schedule, sleeping through the night or whatever, we alternate weeks where one of us will go out, and usually after the kids go to bed, just to make it easier on each other, because at that time there's no more work to be done essentially. Mm-hmm. We alternate times where we go out with our friends. So like Justin will go to Patrick's house for one night to play a video game after the kids go to bed and stay out till like 11.
I haven't done that in years. Usually we just hang out by the fire.
Well, they hang out. Yeah, that's what you've been doing. They just did that the other day. So like Patrick came over here after the kids went to bed and they just hung out by the fire pit and talked and catch up. And I'll do the same with Kaylee or whatever it may be. Just making that time to have like also time not just with each other, not just by yourself, with friends, just to communicate a little bit. It's hard when you have
some Oreo right there. Let me get that for you.
It's hard when you have younger babies like Faye. We were not going to be going out for a little bit, obviously. As they get older, I feel like that's important. Since you guys have been vlogging for more than a few years now, do you get recognized when out in public? Very rarely. I'd say it's happened.
Just happened to me the other day at In-N-Out.
Did it? Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, you told me. It's happened very rarely.
But like we always, and I remember we used to say this all the time. We'd be like, please, like come say hi to us. But seriously, dude, it is so much fun to like be able to meet people that support us and watch us. Like,
no,
so
but also in this area, I feel like we always run into the same people over and over. Like we've met a couple of the people multiple occasions running into them.
But sometimes brand new. Like the other day, it was someone that I had never seen before at In-N-Out.
I met someone at TJ Maxx the other day too. I think her name was Cindy. She was super sweet. So just absolutely, please come say hi. Don't be afraid if I look like a zombie right now.
I always look very friendly, so I don't know what you're talking about.
How's your mom doing? When is she coming to meet Faye? My mom is finally doing so much better, if you guys missed it. So my mom is one of 7 kids, comes from a very large family. Her mom, so my grandma on my mom's side, she had a stroke at a very young age. My grandma unfortunately passed away early in her 60s, so she was very young. She had a stroke earlier on in her life. She had some heart issues, and one of my mom's sisters, she has 3 sisters and 3 brothers. One of her sisters recently had some heart issues as well, so we knew it was like a hereditary type of thing. Luckily, my mom kind of was smart about it and said, okay, this has happened to my mom and my sister. I need to go get checked out. She went to go get some stuff in her heart checked out and ended up having to do a procedure to put in 2 stents. It was more of a preventative type thing, but when they went in to do the procedure, they basically said like, thank God we did this, because things were like 90+ % of the way blocked and something terrible could have happened. So thank God that she decided to go get those tests done. And unfortunately though, because of the timing of all of that happening, she ended up getting the procedure done like I think just a couple of days after I gave birth to Faye. So she wasn't allowed to fly for a bit, but she has officially been approved to fly. But because of all of this chaos, she had already booked her tickets before this all happened. She had to cancel those tickets, but I think they were like non-refundable, or there was some issue with the airlines. So she's trying to schedule it to come out next month in September, because she obviously wants to come out when Faye is little. Her original plan was to come out like right when she was born, because she did that with the boys and she loved that time with the kids. But she's hoping to come out in September and just stay for like a weekend just to visit and you know, hang out with us for a bit. But hopefully she comes out soon. Justin's parents have met her multiple times now. We're just hoping my mom can come out here very, very soon. Who do you think each child looks like? Do their personalities remind you of one in particular? Asher is Justin. Like, what? Personality wise, like 100%. It's so funny because he's so extroverted. He's like a total mini. He's so touchy, wild. He just wants to cuddle. Justin is just like that. Like he's just a mini Justin, and it's hilarious to see their personalities come out. But he's just so extroverted. So that's totally him. I am definitely more introverted, and Emma and Ruben are definitely more.
Emma's like a hybrid, and you're like a hybrid too. Ruben is definitely more introverted. Emma and you are very hybrid. Like Like
So
there's
I would
times
say
where
they
she
lean more that
flourishes,
way.
but then you can tell like she'll be like,
She
I'm
needs
done.
her space
Like,
though
I'm
too.
done.
That's
Yeah.
what I mean when I
But
say
Ribbon,
introverted.
like he could take a hard pass.
He's a
on
homebody. He's a homebody.
people, dude. As long as he's got his dinosaurs, man. He doesn't need people. He just needs an orange dinosaur and a green dinosaur right here, man.
No,
He's
he
content.
loves it. And Pepper ate one of them. I think
But
he
it's
ate
very
it.
cool to like see their different personalities.
No,
And
I think
also
that
to,
Asher
like,
is definitely Justin though.
Yeah.
Emma has already changed so much. I remember when Emma was born, everyone was like, "Oh my god,
She's Justin."
She looks just like Justin." But then when people come visit us now, everyone's like, "Oh my god, she looks just like you, Rachelle." And I'm like, when did that happen? I would say Emma and Ruben definitely lean more towards my personality as far as that stuff goes, but Asher is 100% Justin. So the other two, they could go maybe a little bit more towards Justin. And looks wise, Asher also I feel like looks a lot more
He
like
does.
you.
He definitely does.
Ruben, I feel like looks more like me, especially in my baby photos. Faye, I cannot tell yet. Have you considered hiring a mother's helper or putting the boys in daycare / preschool part-time? A little bit of relief can help so much. So Emma's in preschool.
I want to hire 2 or 3, man.
Emma's in preschool 2 days a week, which she loves it. And she actually started at preschool the age that the boys are at now. The boys, I don't feel like we're going to put them in quite yet. One, because it is incredibly expensive to have 3 toddlers in preschool at the same time. So if we can hold off to put them in until next year, then Emma will be in kindergarten next year. So it'll kind of alleviate a little bit of that financial burden because preschool is expensive. I know a mother's helper is usually like a younger person who just comes to like hang out with you while you're home, which we had a babysitter during the summer who was a college student, but she is just now going back to school. She helped out like 2 or 3 times throughout the summer,
great.
randomly here and there, and we adore her because she lives like right around the corner.
You need to just have your mom and my mom both move back so that we can just
they're gonna do that.
use them to help all the time.
I do wish we had family closer. That
I was
would be
just
really
talking to you
nice.
about that today. I was
Yeah.
like, man, I really miss having family
I
around.
do. I feel like because we had them around for the first
We
few
do.
years.
We have my sister, but she's got 3 kids too. So
She's
like,
got
that's-
3 of them.
that's
My
not gonna
sister
happen.
moved away. Your parents
Yeah.
moved away. So we wish we had more family around. But
Yeah.
we'll consider preschool probably next year is my guess. I just feel I wish we
figure it
could
out.
put them in right now, but the financial cost
no
of
way,
that,
man.
it would be. I know some programs have like a sibling discount, but it's probably like 10%, which ultimately is not a big difference. But if we can wait 1 year, then just the boys will be in. It'll still be 2 kids in preschool, so it'll still be expensive, but it won't be as expensive. And then we'll figure it out from there. It's a different one, but it's like the same question. Out of the kids, who do you see yourselves most in? You definitely see yourself most in Asher. I feel like for me,
Yeah, I don't know.
I don't know, maybe Emma, because just
Yeah.
because she, like I said, she is more introverted, but also she has her people.
Yeah.
Like, and that's how I am. So like I'm more introverted, but like with my close people, I am very not introverted. Like I'm very open book, and that's how Emma is with Annabelle and Joshua. So like she's more introverted with new people. Like if you go to the grocery store and you try and say hi to her, she will absolutely just put her head down and not want anything to do with it, especially if she doesn't know you. Unlike Asher.
Hi.
Yeah, he loves it.
Hi.
But with her people that she's close with, like her best friends, she's an open book and just like adores people, and that's similar to how I am. So I guess, but Ruben's also still young, so it's hard to tell right now. I know I'm not like Asher.
So maybe don't come up to Rachelle in public and say, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Very nice.
I'm just kidding.
Anyways, I think we got all the questions. It doesn't show on the little viewfinder how long this was, but I feel like we have been filming for a long time.
Now you and I both have to do a Q&A. You have a question for me and I'll do a question for you.
Well, you already have one. You clearly already have
I
one.
don't, but I just thought that'd be fun. You have any questions for me?
I don't.
That you want people to know about?
I've gone through a whole pack of Oreos in this city. Thank you guys so much for watching. I think Justin woke up one of the 2 or 3 or 4 kids, so probably should go.
You got it.
You're laughing too hard and loud. Good night.